One of UTRGV's newest degrees is the Bachelor of Arts in Human Dimensions of Organizations. The HDO makes liberal arts work for you. It teaches students how to use the humanities and social/behavior sciences to understand workplace interactions and how organizations can best serve their employees, customers, and clients. Classes are limited to 30 students and start this spring in Edinburg and Brownsville. If you think education should work for you, then visit utrgv.edu/HDO and register for HDOS 3301.
Coming up, President Biden issues pardons for simple marijuana possession. Details ahead.
Plus, the city of Edinburg completes the first phase of a $26 million project. More information in minutes.
And we bring you spectacular stories in the Halloween spirit. KVAQ-TV starts now. Hey there, vaqueros. Welcome back to this semester's 10th edition of KVAQ-TV. I'm Karen Lucero.
And I'm Brianna Garcia. And at the top of the hour,
earlier this month, President Biden issued a presidential proclamation that pardons federal convictions for simple marijuana possession offenses for U.S. citizens.
Felix Valderas with more.
Biden called for governors to take action at the state level, but according to a statement from Greg Abbott's office, marijuana pardons will not be happening in Texas.
No one should be in jail just for using or possessing marijuana.
President Biden's proclamation was passed on October 6th and is expected to help thousands of people, according to a White House news release. According to attorney Sergio Sanchez, simple marijuana possession is personal use and each state has its own definition. Here in Texas, simple marijuana possession is defined to be a small quantity.
Something that you're going to have a baggie of yourself, something that you may have in a box or in a drawer somewhere in your house. So it literally is just what one person can consume on an average man, average lady basis.
KVAQ spoke to Associate Professor of Political Science Charles Olney about the reality behind this proclamation.
This particular action is very limited. It has almost no actual real tangible effect, but at least is symbolically, I think, an indication that maybe we're moving in that direction of thinking about limiting or removing entirely punishments associated with this kind of crime.
Associate Professor of Political Science Natasha Altman-McNeely shares the political implications of Governor Abbott's refusal to comply with President Biden's pardons.
Of course, we know that Abbott is up for re-election in a few weeks. And so he is trying to lock down that support from his base of support, keep showing them and demonstrating that he remains very tough on crime, tough on, border security, tough on immigration, has to say no. And he has to show opposition to Biden's recent action in the context of drug possession.
McNeely says she suspects that this pardon will be a relief by those incarcerated for simple marijuana possession. But she also says that this will be viewed negatively by supporters of strict criminal justice. Attorney Sanchez talks about what the pardon means for people who were affected.
That affected thousands of people, right? And their cases were dropped. The truth is, though, none of these people were in prison. My view of it is that it just didn't go far enough. It didn't get anybody out of prison. It did wipe away a conviction of simple possession.
With the pardon, people who have been charged with only simple marijuana possessions may now have more opportunities in housing, employment, and/or education. For KVAQ-TV in Edinburg, this is Felix Balderas.
The city of Edinburg completed the first phase of 3 projects. A $26 million downtown investment passed last August. Reporter Jessica Amaya with more on this development.
A new amphitheater opened to the public on October 21st and is expected to provide many live night events here in downtown Edinburg. Pro Tem Mayor Juan Garcia says the Multicultural Arts Department had a vision about 15 years ago of creating a project where Sam Houston Elementary School used to be. A project was passed in August 18, 2021 to provide a better quality of life in Edinburg. Edinburg Economic Development Corporation President Veronica Gonzalez shares the city of Edinburg has been growing and the corporation wanted to create more opportunities.
The great cities have the green spaces. They have the places where everybody can share in entertainment, where you have hike and bike trails, plazas. Those are the things that draw people to cities. And that is what the EDC wants to do.
State Representative Terry Canales attended the grand opening of the Promenade Park. Canales says the quality of life is more than just businesses across the city.
From dance, plays, music, and music soothes the savage beast. Well, performing arts celebrates humanity, and that's what we're doing here today. This is the beginning of the celebration of humanity, and in our community, the effects that will happen here will ripple throughout our society for generations to come.
The amphitheater and water gardens project is estimated to cost $1,250,000, and Phase 2 is estimated to cost $1,250,000. The foundation for Phase 2 has been completed. Construction for the South Texas Arts and Culture Center is expected to begin in November. Reporting for KVAQ-TV in Edinburg, Jessica Maya.
A paranormal investigator talks about his long career and the many experiences he has had. Our reporter, Xavier Aguilar, with the story.
A family with over 20 years of paranormal experience investigates the historic places around the valley looking for the abnormal. Thomas Hokovich is a skeptic and lead investigator of the RGV Paranormal Investigation. The RGV Paranormal Investigations is one of Brownsville's original paranormal teams. Hokovich says he investigates with the help of equipment like a dowsing rod and electromagnetic field detectors. On his many adventures, Hokovich recalls playing Yankee Doodle Dandy on his harmonica at Fort Brown.
My daughter could sense and see that there was a soldier standing directly behind me. And I kept on, and then all of a sudden I felt a kick in the middle of my back. And I had a black shirt on, and it left a boot print on the back of my shirt.
Brownsville is a city with over 174 years of history under its belt. With 2 different wars fought here, 2 battlegrounds, and Confederate military fort, Brownsville is rich in history. For KVAQ-TV in Brownsville, Xavier Aguilar.
Before Texas Southmost College became an institution, it was a battleground with a rich history of war and disease. KVAQ-TV did some digging into paranormal experiences on campus. Here's the story.
It is still a place of a lot of creepy death, and it's not surprising to me that people see spirits as a result.
The history of some parts of the TSC campus dates back to the late 1800s when Fort Brown was known as the first military post in Texas in 1854, according to the Brownsville Historical Association website. Associate Professor for the Department of Literature and Cultural Studies at UTRGV, David Bowles, says the land was the site of the Mexican-American War, followed by the hit of the yellow fever epidemic on Fort Brown.
Doctors would literally, at the end of their shift, to go outside and dig graves because they knew that tomorrow people were going to be dead.
He mentions people were dying by the thousands, and Mexican-American victims of the yellow fever would be buried without a funeral for health reasons.
Spoken to people who swear that little boys come up to them and said, "Can you help me find my mother? I can't find my mother. I'm lost. Can you tell her I'm okay? She's so worried." And then, they look around for the mom and they turn and the boy's gone.
Bowles says the mother and son allegedly died of yellow fever. TSC student Daniel Sampaio shares his ghostly experiences while on campus.
Sometimes I would just walk here alone and just check in the place, and not gonna lie, it's creepy. You feel like you're being watched sometimes. Sometimes you feel like you're being followed.
He says he had paranormal encounters in the area.
We were just talking, and out of nowhere, we see one of the curtains up, and then when we looked at it like for 2 or 3 seconds, it went down like someone was looking at us, and now just closed it when they saw us.
Sampaio says this is one of the many spine-chilling experiences at the TSC campus. As for Bowles, he says countless unmarked graves remain on site.
Next, a local resident created a Facebook group called the RGV Horror Club, inspired by his love for the genre. Amado Boldavinos with the story.
Daniel Menchaca says his love for horror movies started at the age of 7 when his father first introduced him to classics like Silver Bullet and Friday the 13th. The RGV Horror Club was first started to create a place where people could share anything horror-related. For the past 2 summers, the RGV Horror Club has hosted events like Camp Hack and Slash, where fanatics can come and enjoy game activities, a costume contest, a Halloween-themed hide-and-seek, and a showing of a Halloween movie. Founder of the RGV Horror Club, Daniel Menchaca, shares when the group was first created and what he likes about the horror genre.
I like the monster designs. I like being scared for the thrill of it. Started after the last horror con we had here in the valley. I guess around that time, like, I don't know, it just seemed to be for fun, really.
The RGV Horror Club has also given members like Michelle Duran the opportunity to network and promote her business where she sells customized merchandise through the page.
That helped me kind of boom my business and kind of get a network going of people who love the same things I do. Just having people who like the same things you like, that makes you like a weirdo or whatever in any other situation, is pretty great, because you learn to be able to socialize more.
Menchaca shares a Facebook group has surpassed 7,000 members and has helped unite people who share similar interests and love for horror. He also shares a message he hopes the community can take from the club.
Wish to inspire more people to come out of the conformities of what we grew up with as kids. Hey, horror movies are right. Hey, it's okay to dress differently. It's okay to be weird, be spooky.
Menchaca adds the RGV Horror Club is planning on showing Christmas horror movies at the Cine El Rey Theater in McAllen during the month of December to keep the Halloween spirit alive. For KVAQ-TV in McAllen, I'm Amada Valdovinos.
That's all for today. Make sure to watch us Monday through Friday on VCast monitors and on social media.
You can also tune in to the Vaquero Radio on the Radio FX app. For KVAQ-TV, I'm Brianna Garcia.
And I'm Karen Lucero. Stay safe, vaqueros.